Today, I am sharing my top 3 tips on how to create a homeschool schedule that works for you. Stick around until the end to hear my bonus tip for you as a mom. Hi everyone, welcome to our homeschool table. My name is Jerilyn. I'm a mom of 3 kids, ages 10, 3, and 1, and this is the very beginning of our 6th year of homeschooling. And today, I just wanted to share with you about our homeschool schedule, the things that I think about in creating our schedule, and just how we can get our mornings off to a good start. Today's video is a collaboration with Davene from Calm in the Chaos Homeschool and Shawna from Homegrown Homeschool, and I will leave a link in the description box to the collaboration playlist where you can check out other moms' videos of how their homeschool mornings go, their flows, routines, whatever you want to call it. Just check out those other videos down below for more great inspiration. Tip number 1, think about what your typical day looks like. What anchors do you have in place already? So for us, those things would be breakfast, snack time, lunch, and quiet time. And that kind of takes us from morning into the later afternoon. So once you have identified those main anchors in your day, think about the subjects that you can do during those specific times. So if it's a meal time, you might think about the subjects that you can do while they're eating. They don't need to write anything, they just need to listen. So for us, those things are Bible and enrichment. I might do a history reading during a meal or a read aloud or something like that. Something where my kids don't need to write anything or do any sort of activity or game. They can just listen. Tip number 2 is, what are the subjects that they need to be able to have a table for, or a space where they can be sitting down to write something or play a game or an activity or something like that. Once you have identified the subjects where they need to be at a table, you can start to think about how you can alternate those subjects so that one part of their brain isn't being used the whole time. I have a video on this about how to create a simple weekly plan. I'll link it up here. And it explains how you can put your subjects in a certain order so that one part of their brain or body isn't getting fatigued. That way you don't have to take as many breaks because you're alternating parts of the brain and parts of the body that are working. Tip number 3 is thinking about which subjects your student can be independent with and which ones they need your help with. You will see in our schedule that certain days of the week have more of my time needed than others. So for instance, on Mondays, I teach the Learn It section of our Fix It Grammar, and I work with my daughter on that lesson, where the rest of the week, that particular subject is an independent subject. Or at the beginning of a new math lesson, we watch the video together and I work through the work page with her, where the rest of the pages later on in the week, I do not do with her. She does those independently as well. So you have to really think about how you can set up your day so that you have kind of time slots of when your student is working with you and when they can be independent. This is especially important if you have multiple kids that you're homeschooling, because if you're working with one student, you want the other one to be working on something else independently so that they're not just sitting there doing nothing or off playing. They are doing something to be productive while you work with someone else. So now I'm going to turn the camera around and show you our weekly schedule side by side with my daughter's weekly checklist. And then we'll kind of go back and forth between them so that you can see how we order our day so that we can get everything done in an efficient way and not be doing school for 5 to 6 hours. So here is our homeschool schedule, and here is my daughter's weekly checklist. And I'm going to just kind of talk about them side by side so that you can see how our schedule works. So the first thing that you're going to notice here on the left side is that I don't actually have any times listed. Our morning time can vary a little bit depending on what time everybody wakes up. I am not usually waking them up by a certain time so that we can get started at a certain time. I just like to let them wake up naturally. So I instead have just written times. These are approximate times of how long each of the blocks should take. Um, that way, we just kind of know if we're on the right track for the day or not. So we start here with breakfast and then Bible plus one, which is our enrichment studies. So if you look over here in the Bible section, Monday through Thursday, we have our regular Bible time. On Friday, my daughter reads her Girl's Guide to Making Really Good Choices by Elizabeth George. And then our plus one is hymn on Monday, artist study on Tuesday, composer on Wednesday, and hymn on Thursday. Then she has her personal Bible time here. This goes along with her table time or independent work. That was something that I added recently, so it kind of got in the wrong place on her checklist, but that's okay. So after we do breakfast and Bible plus one, we have a 30-minute time block for morning chart and chores. So my daughter likes to check off on her list that her morning chart and chores are done. I know you're going to be very surprised, but she has a morning chart checklist and a chores checklist so that she can keep track of what she has done so far, and that is very helpful for her. After morning chart and chores, we have a 90-minute block for table time. That is just things like language arts, math, science, and any other independent work. So I wrote on her checklist that it's about 90 minutes, and all of the purple subjects that are listed here are things that she can do independently. She doesn't need me to be right there to do them. So most days she has 4 or 5 things that she can do on her own while I am getting food ready or switching over the laundry or changing a diaper or something like that. So she does her copy work, dictation, and written narration first. So those usually have to do with writing. And then the next thing that she has to do is something that doesn't require writing. So nature reader, typing, nature reader, and typing. Then she goes to fix it grammar, and she does the first day of the week with me, and then the rest of them are independent. And then she works on a Christian Light Education reading lesson. So some days this requires reading a story and then doing some pages in the light unit. And the next day, she doesn't have to worry about reading that story again. She just works on the next few pages in the light unit that go along with the day before story. So she is reading and then doing a little bit of writing here. Then she stops with writing and starts math. So she has a math warm-up, and those just run Monday through Thursday, and she alternates. Monday and Wednesday, she does some multiplication flashcards. Tuesday, she does a page of multiplication in the Kumon multiplication or division books. So Tuesday is multiplication and Thursday is division. And then Monday through Friday, she does a math lesson with our Math UC curriculum. So we're on Epsilon this year, which is the fractions level. And on Monday is when we normally watch the video for the new lesson. And then I work on the A page with her. And then the rest of the week, she can start on that independently. Obviously, if she has questions and needs help, then she can ask for help at that time. And if I'm not busy at that current second, I will come over and help her. The next thing we have here is science on Monday, Tuesday, and health on Wednesday, Thursday. Then we are done with table time, and we transition into what we call the lunch loop. Now, there are a few different things that I loop for our lunchtime. So the first thing is I read a few pages out of our character curriculum. The second one is that I read aloud from the Burgess Seashore book. And the third thing is that we listen to an audiobook from the Read Alouds with Our Sunlight History Bible Literature program. So our Sunlight program comes with all the books that we need, but sometimes I like to just take something off of my plate. If there is an audiobook available from our library, then I go ahead and we listen to that. Then after lunch, if you see here, we have 60 minutes for lunch and break. We normally have most of our break before lunch just so that I can get ready for lunch. My daughter can fix her lunch, and then we'll take a little bit of a break after lunch. And then after lunch, we have couch time. That's our history and read aloud. So if we look over here at the checklist, our Sunlight block, there is poetry. AO stands for Ambleside Online. So 2 days a week, we are doing poetry from the Ambleside Online Poetry Anthology. We are doing year 5 right now. On Tuesday, we do all of the poetry for Sunlight, which is normally just 2 poems. And so we just read both of those on one day, because then on Thursday, we do the timeline figures at that time, where we use the timeline stickers and put them in the timeline book. Then we have history and geography. So usually there is at least one history book that we read. And then we do some mapping skills for this geography portion. And then we end with read aloud. Now, if we've already done read aloud at lunchtime, if we've listened to an audiobook, we won't do the read aloud down here. This would be kind of in place of the read aloud at the lunchtime. Then the last section of time that we have here, this does not have a certain amount of time, but quiet time is when my daughter works on her Awana memorization, and she works through any Awana homework that she has. Then she does a couple sentences of gratitude in her gratitude journal, and she reads her Sunlight readers. So if we look over here, quiet time has Awana and gratitude, and then I normally write with my vis-a-vis marker, a wet erase marker, what chapters she needs to read from her Sunlight reader those days. Now, I write out her Sunlight reader Monday through Friday, but she often will read all of the chapters either by Wednesday or Thursday, so that she can take Friday off from that. If you notice over here, there's a lot less to do on Fridays, and several of the curriculums that we use, like Fix It Grammar and CLE Reading, they do not require 5 days a week. So these are 4-day-a-week curriculum. Our science is only 2 days a week, and then health, I just filled in the other 2 days until we finish the book that we're using right now. So on Fridays, we have a lot lighter of a schedule. We do Girls Guide, we do an art lesson, a little bit of math, and then her regular quiet time activities. I hope that was helpful for you to see our homeschool schedule and our weekly checklist. So my bonus tip for you as a mom is to have your own morning routine where you can do whatever you need to do before school starts to get yourself ready for the school day. Be completely ready with whatever it is that you need to do. So for me, that is, I like to get up before the kids do so that I can have my at least first cup of coffee and my Bible reading. And then I like to take a shower and get ready as much as I can before they wake up. Now, my youngest kids, who are 3 and 1, they usually sleep past 7:30. Usually they wake up between 8 and 8:30 or so. So my goal every morning is to get myself completely ready for the day by 8:30 in the morning. If you have any tips that you would like to share down in the comments, I would love to hear them. I'm always trying to learn more efficient ways of doing things so that our homeschool can run more smoothly and with more calmness. So please share those ideas down below. Thank you again to Davene from Calm in the Chaos Homeschool and Shawna from Homegrown Homeschool for hosting today's collaboration. Don't forget to check out the playlist linked down in the description box so that you can visit the other moms' channels that are talking about their homeschool schedules today as well. Thank you so much for coming to our homeschool table today, and we'll see you next time.